Where does Jalen Brunson rank amongst the premier point guards in the NBA? And I'm also going to be talking about what the NBA is doing trying to conjure this New York Knicks San Antonio Spurs rivalry. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest. So with the Olympics over, now we have a little bit of a break until the NBA season starts. And I believe NBA preseason starts the beginning of October. So it got me to think about all the players that were on the Olympic team, specifically point guards, Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, Tyrese Halliburton, Stephen Curry. And then it got me to think about the premier point guards in the league. And where does Jalen Brunson actually rank? Now, my personal opinion, I think he's anywhere from top 3 to top 5 point guards in the league. But as I was scouring the internet, I came across this post by HoopsHype, and they gave their top 25 NBA point guards for the upcoming season. Now, 1 through 5, number 1 being Luka, even though I have my reservations about Luka. Number 2, SGA. Number 3, Jalen Brunson. Number 4, Tyrese Halliburton. And number 5, Steph Curry. Actually, I should correct myself. Stephen Wardell Curry is the only way I'm going to acknowledge him after that heroic performance that he had against France in the gold medal game. Now, specifically with this season that just finished, SGA, I feel like, has taken a leap in his career. I feel like he's taken a leap where everybody is considering him. Everybody is looking at him, one of the, not even just premier point guards, but one of the premier players in the league. And the LA Clippers should 100% be slapping themselves in the face for giving SGA up in that Paul George trade, but that's another story for another day. Now, I looked at the numbers between SGA and Jalen Brunson. So for Jalen Brunson, for the season, he averaged 28.7 points, 6.7 assists, and 3.6 rebounds. Now, those 28.7 points, that came in at 21.5 field goal attempts, where he made 10.3 of them, which equates to 47.9%. The three-pointers made, he averaged around 2.7 three-pointers made, and that's about 6.8, which is about 7 three-point attempts, which equates to 40.1%. And if we take a look at SGA numbers, so for the season, he averaged 30 points, 6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. Those 30 points came on 10.6 field goals made on 19.8, which is basically 20 field goals attempted. And he equates to 53.5%. Three-pointers, he averaged around 1.3 makes on 3.5 three-point attempts, which equates to 35.3%. And the only reason why I'm particularly bringing up SGA is because, like I said earlier, I just feel like SGA he's definitely garnered the respect of the rest of the league, specifically with this season that just happened. He was number 2 in MVP voting right behind Jokic. And I feel like if Jalen Brunson is going to have another season like he just did, I feel like the respect around his name in the NBA media with all the talking head shows, I feel like it's going to be that much of a difference. Now, going back to the list, I just told you about SGA, I gave you his numbers. Now we're going to talk about the number 1 point guard that HoopsHype has on their top 25 NBA point guards for this upcoming season. And if you look at the list, yes, Luka Doncic. Now, Luka, in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, I have my reservations about Luka. I just don't like how everybody kind of anointed Luka Doncic as like the best player in the league as soon as he came into the league. They were having conversations about Luka, comparing him to Larry Bird, where he didn't even really do anything. I understood that the hype around Luka coming into the league was at an all-time high, obviously playing for Real Madrid when he was a teenager, signed with Real Madrid when he was a teenager, and he's been playing pro ever since he was probably like 13, and all the accolades that he was able to accomplish while over there in Spain and in Europe. But I just really don't like it when the NBA media, when they put all this hype on a particular player when he hasn't even shown us anything on the NBA hardwood floor. I'm from the old school, and a big thing with me is the eye test. And for some reason, there's just always something that I've seen in Luka's game that I just was never really attracted to. Ever since he really came into his own, he was really giving me James Harden, prime James Harden and the Houston Rockets vibes, where he's just dribbling the ball and everybody is just watching him play. And he has the ability to make his teammates better. I just have a feeling that Luka Doncic, he wants to be more ball dominant than what he really is. Whenever you see Luka Doncic dominating a game, it's when he's getting his and when he's getting his teammates involved. But I feel like time and time again, Luka, he just falls under the pretense of like just dominating the ball, a la James Harden and Houston Rockets, taking 20 dribbles to go into a crossover. For Luka Doncic, it's that right to left step back three-pointer that he always has whenever he he's in isolation. But for Luka, and this past season, he averaged 33.9 points, 9.8 assists, and 9.2 rebounds. Selected to play in his 5th All-Star game, obviously leading the Dallas Mavericks to the championship against the Boston Celtics. And if you take a look at the numbers, he averaged 11.5 field goals made, and that is on 23.6 field goals attempted, which equates to 48.7%. Three-pointers, he averaged around 4 three-pointers made on 10.6 attempts, which equates to 38.2%. And if you compare that to the Jalen Brunson numbers, so field goals made, Jalen Brunson averaged 10.3, Luka averaged 11.5. Field goals attempted, Jalen Brunson averaged 21.5, Luka Doncic averaged 23.6. Luka averaged 48.7 from the field. Jalen Brunson averaged 47.9. Three-pointers made, Luka averaged 4.1, where Jalen Brunson averaged 2.7. Three-point attempts, Luka Doncic 10.6. Jalen Brunson 6.8, and that equated for Luka 38.2%, Jalen Brunson 40.1. So when you break the numbers down side by side, Jalen Brunson isn't that far off as far as HoopsHype's top 25 point guards going into the upcoming season. Jalen Brunson isn't that far off, where I thought maybe between Luka and SGA, I thought Brunson's numbers might have been a little bit further back. But that just goes to show you what Jalen Brunson has done with his career, just developing his game, growing into his own, and really separating himself from the rest of the pack. Now, going back to the list, after the top 5, we got Tyrese Maxey, Ja Morant, who I feel like everybody's completely forgot about Ja just because of that whole situation that he was going through. After Ja, we got Damian Lillard. Number 9, we got De'Aaron Fox. Number 10, Trae Young. Number 9, De'Aaron Fox. I feel like De'Aaron Fox is 100% slept on just because he plays for the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento, this past season, they weren't able to make it to the playoffs, where 2 seasons ago, they made it to the playoffs in the first time in, 19 years, and they lost to the Golden State Warriors in the first round, where, in my opinion, I thought they should have won in that Game 7. But De'Aaron Fox, man, I'm super happy that he's definitely getting the recognition that he definitely deserves. But one last time, going back to the list, looking at all the names that Brunson is ahead of: Halliburton, Steph Curry, Tyrese Maxey, Ja, Dame, De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young, Kyrie, Jamal Murray, Cade, LaMelo, like these names, James Harden, these names that Jalen Brunson is ahead of, these players, some of these players are already Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers, if you will. And Jalen Brunson, right now in the prime of his career, he's just showing everybody what he's really made of. And now I want to shift my focus towards Christmas Day, where the New York Knicks will be facing off against the San Antonio Spurs. I should say Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. So a few days ago, the NBA schedule came out for Christmas Day, and Shams had this tweet out just talking about the whole schedule for the day. So it's going to start off with the Spurs at the Knicks, Timberwolves at the Dallas Mavericks, 76ers at the Boston Celtics, the Lakers at Golden State Warriors, and the Denver Nuggets at the Phoenix Suns. Now, it's really cool that the New York Knicks get to have that Christmas Day game, especially at the Garden. Christmas Day is pretty much like when the NBA season kind of really begins, because when the NBA season does begin towards the end of October, beginning of November, it's still football season, and just the early, 10 to 15 games of the NBA season, just a lot of the basketball fans, they're not really tuned in. And Christmas Day, even though the NFL is they're kind of like trying to take over Christmas Day now as well. Christmas Day has always been known as the NBA Day, and NBA just has games on games on games where you're opening presents and everybody is just around the tree watching the games. So it's really cool that the Knicks have a game on Christmas Day, especially opening up the day against Victor Wembanyama. But my question that I have is, why the San Antonio Spurs? I would have thought the NBA would have had the New York Knicks going up against maybe the Boston Celtics, who the Knicks are looked at as the premier contenders against Boston. And if it's not Boston, then probably Philadelphia 76ers, where there is a little bit of a rivalry there. The only thing I can think of is last season when Jalen Brunson, the last game against the San Antonio Spurs, where Jalen Brunson dropped 61 points, a 61-point burger ball on Victor Wembanyama. I feel like the NBA is trying to build up this rivalry against the San Antonio Spurs, where I don't know why. But going back to that game, man, so Jalen Brunson dropped 61 points. He was 25 of 47 from the field. Three-point land, he was 5 of 13, converting all 6 of his free throws. We also got to talk about the future of basketball, not just the future of the NBA, the future of basketball. Victor Wembanyama ended the game with 40 points, 13 of 22 from the field, 4 of 9 from three-point land, converting 10 of his 12 free throws, grabbing 20 rebounds, 15 of them coming from the defensive end, 5 from the offensive end, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Victor Wembanyama, man, is going to be an absolute monster. He's going to be an absolute monster once he grows into his body, once he gets at least, 2 to 3 seasons under his belt. He's the future of basketball. But yeah, I just found it interesting when I saw that schedule drop and I saw that the Knicks are going to be at home against the San Antonio Spurs. Now, another thought of mine is Adam Silver. He's trying to give Victor Wembanyama the most exposure possible. And if you're going to give Victor Wembanyama exposure, you might as well get him to open up Christmas Day in the Garden in New York. And on top of that, the New York Knicks are finally thriving again. And it's not just a one-season kind of thing. We've been good for the last 2 seasons, basically since Jalen Brunson has gotten to the Knicks. And barring injury, Jalen Brunson, he's going to keep going. He's going to keep revitalizing the New York Knicks organization. And it looks like Adam Silver is going to try and capitalize on it, which he should. I've always said that when the Knicks are good, that when the Knicks and the Lakers are good at the same time, it's amazing for basketball. 2 of the premier cities in the United States, 2 of the biggest markets in the United States, when they're good, when their NBA teams are good, the NBA is rocking. But yeah, me personally, I definitely would have liked to see the Knicks going up against Boston. I just wanted to see how they fared out. With everybody healthy, hopefully everybody is healthy. And the first time we actually do get Boston and New York, everybody's healthy from both sides. Boston and New York, Julius Randle, OG, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, everybody. I want everybody healthy because that first game where the Knicks go into Boston or the Boston Celtics come into the Garden, I think it's going to mean something. I think it's going to mean something because either team, if it's the Knicks or the Boston Celtics, they're definitely looking to make a statement. It's the Boston Celtics. They're definitely trying to let the New York Knicks know that you guys are still the little guys. You guys are still looking to get what they have. And if it's the Knicks are probably going to be going into Boston trying to give them a message saying that, like, okay, your time is over. You guys had one good season where you got the championship, but now it's our time under the realm of Jalen Brunson. Let's go, baby. But guys, that's it for today's video. I want to say thank you so much for checking it out. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, you know the drill, you know the vibes. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. Taj Gibson for president wherever you are. The deuce is loose wherever you are. Kel Bridges for the 2024-2025 Defensive Player of the Year. And I feel like I'm missing one, but I'm sorry. Leave it in the comments and remind me. But until next time, I'll check you out in the next episode. Peace.